Just think, I send you down there to kill each other, and instead you make nice and you form a team. Who is this old Santa?
My name is Jeff.
When Deadpool and Wolverine hit the screen in the summer of 24, it was the adrenaline shot in the arm the MCU sorely needed after a slew of mediocrity after the end of the Infinity Saga. And with that necessary sigh of relief, people's eyes were on Captain America Brave New World to carry the torch, to light the path for the return of Marvel. But unfortunately, that movie didn't quite soar like so many had hoped. But there was still one light in the darkness of the MCU fans' despair. A couple of great trailers to this weird concept of a movie with a bunch of side characters and former villains in what can only be described as discount Avengers, Thunderbolts. Wait, is that an asterisk? Is that important? Why is it important? Are they messing with us? Why does every trailer put up so much emphasis on this tiny simple "tell me now, damn it"? And so, what happens when you bet the success of your universe after a flop on a group of B and C level characters who, in keeping with Yelena's own words, punch and shoots to face off against what is essentially Marvel's version of Superman? You get a surprisingly deep and dark character study that deals with a very contemporary mental issue with a side serving of classic Marvel humor. The movie follows Yelena Belova, Red Guardian, Ghost, Taskmaster and John Walker, all of them with shady pasts. Some previous villains, others anti-heroes who are coerced into a high-stakes mission by the CIA director Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, aka Val.
Don't call me that.
Sorry. With a deep secret to hide and a potential impeachment, Valentina attempts to hide all of her Black Ops operations, and her group of mercenaries are the final loose end, so she sends them off to kill each other. When that fails, and the ragtag group of misfits stumbles upon the mysterious Bob, a deeper conspiracy rises, and despite none of them being heroes, they are apprehended by Bucky Barnes, the previous Winter Soldier, to help take down Valentina and whatever her plans are with this secret Project Sentry. All whilst the team's journey forces them to confront their pasts and question their loyalties. When you can't call upon the Avengers, you have to settle for second, or even third best.
We are the Thunderbolts!
Can't call ourselves that.
God, thank you.
While the team as a whole might not gel as well as James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy did, I think director Jake Schreier manages to create a group dynamic with interesting characters. While some characters like Ava Starr, aka Ghost, and John Walker, played by Hannah John-Kamen and Wyatt Russell respectively, gets the least amount of character development, they do serve their function well enough. This movie, however, belongs to Florence Pugh with her performance as Yelena Belova. She shows Yelena as a deeply complex and flawed character who, despite her sarcastic exterior and killer instinct and abilities, very much still is a human being whose journey so far has taken its toll on her. She shows that she is a leading lady and can be a prominent leading figure in the MCU and fill the void that Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow has left behind after Endgame. In my opinion, the show stealer and the comic backbone of this film is David Harbour's Alexei Shostakov, the Red Guardian. He takes everything great he delivered back in Black Widow and cranks it up to 11 in this film. His over-the-top excitement, his line deliveries, and a surprisingly genuine, heartwarming parental bond with Yelena makes this character a standout in terms of comedy and secures the humor that Marvel movies made a staple. From the very beginning of the film, we get a sense that this might be the darkest movie in the MCU so far in some regards. The familiar Marvel logo opening starts as it usually does, before the music fades and the logo slowly engulfs into pitch black with no sound at all. And then we're introduced to Yelena standing on the top of the tallest building in Malaysia while her inner monologue talks about the deep void inside of her before seeming to throw herself off the building only to activate her parachute. It's clear that this movie intends to show that sometimes the biggest threat to our well-being is within ourselves. This is more than evident with the character of Bob Reynolds, played by Louis Pullman, who through experimentation becomes both the superhero, the Sentry, and the dangerous villain, the Void. Two sides of an almost invincible coin. His traumatic past literally manifests into a character called the Void, who sends people to their own mental prison where they deal with the most traumatic events of their past, all while leaving behind a shadow imprint on the ground, not too dissimilar to the human shadows etched in the stones in the wake of the nuclear bomb explosion in Hiroshima. At the end of the day, it's quite disturbing to see people and Manhattan being engulfed in this hungry, all-encompassing black abyss. But it's within the dark theme and tone that the true message of this story shines. It shows that every person, even heroes, struggle with life. Whether you're struggling with lost valor and former glory, suffering from trauma wounds inflicted in your childhood, or your life at this point being marred with pain, loss and tragedy. With Yelena as the audience's vehicle, we see just what a life as an assassin from the Red Room has accumulated in her, and how ultimately the loss of her beloved sister almost, quite literally, has pushed her over the edge into the void of her own dark thoughts and insecurities. The movie elegantly shows the audience, with a very Inception-inspired mindscape sequence, how emotional and psychological breakthroughs through acceptance is needed in order for us to move on as people. And just like how Inside Out 2 brilliantly showed an anxiety attack can feel like a storm inside of us, so too does this movie show how all-consuming our own dark thoughts can overshadow everything. In that sense, despite this film being great fun, it's also very poignant and culturally relevant in a time where so many people are suffering in our current loneliness epidemic. And seeing how even heroes, with all the power in the world, at the end of the day can struggle with something so fundamentally human is not only refreshing, it's reassuring.
Okay, that was really good.
And so, while Thunderbolts doesn't crack my top 5 of Marvel movies, it's still a great return to form for the MCU. It's another win for the genre juggernaut, and with this being the 36th film in the franchise, I'm actually quite impressed that it managed to do something new in the universe while still making it feel quintessential Marvel. Now, all that's left to do is patiently wait for the Fantastic Four to roll around and hopefully keep the Marvel ball rolling. This movie easily earns an 8 out of 10 for me. Thanks for watching.
Just think, I send you down there to kill each other, and instead you make nice and you form a team. Who is this old Santa?
Taking a break between shifts, I guess you could say.